Hi, everybody. Yeah, I am here. I'm just chit-chatting. I have no show to do. I have no information to share. I'm just putting my makeup on, getting ready for the day. Tennessee, how are you doing, my friend? Great to see you. Yep, I decided to talk with you guys and find out what has been going on since I have been absent from the picture and try to kickstart my life and get back into my life again. I have been following this Ruby Frank crime, arrest, whatever we want to call it. Hey, Jennifer. Crazy, right? But I tell you what, abusers are in every part of life. They come in the most powerful families, the pretty houses up on the hill filled with abuse. Sometimes that abuse is physical, you get beatings and such, and sometimes that abuse is just downright petty bullshit. They think they're in some kind of imaginary game of, I'm going to rule you by fear. And really, it's just, petty, sad crap. So, hey, Jody Landis, how are you doing? Good morning from Indiana. I'm so glad to be here. Just found your channel a few days ago. Jody, you're a sweetheart to say that because I have been out of pocket for quite some time. Family, trauma, and I don't know how. Well, I just don't even want to talk about it. But you normally I try to put up 2 videos a day on different crimes or court cases. But like I said, things have been really terrible. So thank you, Jody. You are a sweetheart for voicing that. I sure appreciate it. Thank you. Hey, Critters. Yeah, so that was one of the reasons, Critters, that I decided to talk while, I'm putting my makeup on and whatnot. Because I was live earlier. I was filming the sunrise, and it was spectacular this morning. It was beautiful. But my phone went dead. And I was talking to my friends, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I had to come back and say, no, that wasn't a grand exit. It was just really good timing on my telephone dying because my mouth was about to overload my ass. You know what I mean? Sometimes when we're overly emotional, we really wish our phone would die. So it did, thank goodness. So, Critters, Bill and I said last night that we were going to cook your shrimp and grits today. So we're going to have shrimp and grits for dinner tonight. So, how's everybody been doing? Like, what's the big case that you've been following? I saw on Allegedly with Brittany. They were up all night last night watching. I don't really the gas station, but they thought they were looking for the escaped convict, right? Ruby Frankie, listen, Critters, Ruby Frankie, that I have been consumed, obsessed with this whole Ruby Frankie thing. It is nuts, isn't it? And I think the thing that really is so difficult about it is 3 years ago, they were begging CPS to do something. And look, I'm here to tell y'all, the illusion created by wealth is a real thing, right? If people that have wealth, they can present their their family in a big, pretty white house in the middle of the pasture, surrounded by, trees and hay fields, and make it, in this case with Ruby Frankie, they've got like this, what was it, a $3 million house out in this very scenic, beautiful escarpment in Arizona. And people in positions of power that can do something like CPS, or the people at the schools, the bishop at the church, the preacher, people that are in those positions of power, they see money and they say, look, it's money. That's integrity. Money means morality. And none of that is true. It's absolutely not true. You can have the biggest, prettiest, whitest house there is. It sends this illusion of success and hard work. And really, you could just have, a useless, horrible person that somehow, through their own, unprincipled machinations, ends up in this big, beautiful house. And it does look, that is like, that's what happened with Ruby Frankie, that she had her YouTube channel. And in the beginning of the YouTube channel, she was pretty down to earth, I think. And then with fame and all the money that comes with these family vlogging channels, she just lost it, didn't she? She lost it. Fractured Fairy Tales, welcome. I have been checking your channel to get your. I'm so sorry, y'all. When I say I got knocked down, I am not kidding. It's been very difficult. So I apologize. I actually even did 2 videos, I guess last week? But I never released them. I just recorded them. Then I went back and listened to them, and I thought, I don't know if I really want to put that out there, but yeah. So the Frankie thing is pretty crazy. And the terrible thing about it is that CPS was actually the oldest daughter. Imagine that, the daughter being the only sane one in the family. The daughter was begging CPS to come in, to go investigate, to help, that her dad had moved out of the house, that her mom was just batshit crazy, and that there were little kids living in the home that were going to be harmed, that she was denying food, and the brother was made to sleep on the beanbag for 7-8 months. And CPS closed the cases. They'd open them, they'd go see their big, pretty, fine, cute little house, and then they'd close the cases. And the reality is that people live these lives of illusion for decades. And if there's money there, they can get away with the illusion. But what I've learned is that when you take the money out of the picture and you only judge people according to the actual behavior that they're engaging in, that's when you can find your psychopathic, immoral assholes. You know what I mean? So, and those assholes are everywhere. You just wouldn't even believe where all you could find some assholes. But they reveal themselves, And the funny thing is, they reveal themselves in ways that others would say, "Oh, that's weird. Like, why would someone do that? That's so gross and petty and psychopathic. Like, hey, those are my items. Please don't sell them. Sorry, gonna sell them because I own everything." And then they don't. We're crazy, crazy, crazy people. But, as long as there's the illusion of wealth, we're going to pretend that this behavior is normal and acceptable. No, gross, disgusting people. Ruby Frank is one of them. This Hildebrand, too, is another weird one, right? She is being sanctioned by the Mormon Church, right? Bebop, welcome. Good morning. All of her referrals as a therapist are coming from the Mormon Church. And what I found to be completely interesting is that when her license, it was on probation, it was pulled, right? It was frozen. And rather than sitting back and taking this as a time of reflection and additional continuing education, which is what those sanctions are for, she just signs up as a life coach and continues doing the same abusive behavior instead of under a licensed counselor credentials. She now calls herself a life coach. And the reality is that the licensing boards, the licensing boards in Texas and in Louisiana, West Virginia, you would not be, let me say it this way. You would be encouraged to distance yourself from that certificate saying that you are a life coach. That would be being a licensed, credentialed counselor would not be compatible with being a life coach, right? Now, in some situations, like, let me think of an example. Let's say this life coach would be, let's say they work 20 years as a business executive, right? They work 20 years as an executive in a company, very successful, knows a lot about the subtleties of that level of management, just a lot of tacit knowledge that you don't get from anywhere other than actual work experience. You very often you will find people that went on and became industrial organizational psychologists, earned a PhD in IO Psych, or perhaps they became licensed professional counselors, but they're using their coaching certificate as a business coach, right? They're not trying to deliver mental health services with that life coach certificate. When they meet with their clients, they're strictly talking 100% about how do I become and be a successful executive. So that's a little bit different. And I do think this is a slippery slope that the licensing boards for healthcare providers, they're really looking at this problem of life coaches thinking that they should be delivering mental health services because they just don't have they don't have the training or the experience, guided experience. And as we have seen multiple times on YouTube, life coaches are not often making the best choices for themselves or the people. And so it's a bit dangerous, to act like you are a healthcare provider and you aren't. You sat through an 8-hour class and got a piece of paper that said, hey, I sat through an 8-hour class, but you don't really have, the needed necessary knowledge base or skills to do that kind of work. So it's a little bit, I was actually very surprised to find out that Jody never missed a beat from the time her license was suspended to the time that it was reinstated, she never quit working. She continued to work. She continued to take her referrals from the Mormon church. But rather than doing it with her LPC credentials, she was doing it as a life coach, which is just crazy. And it was even crazier that Ruby Frankie was given this very misleading and exploitative title. What was it? She was a something mental. Was it a mental coach, or what was that other thing that she was calling herself? Critters. I can't remember what it was. I'll have to look it up. Uh, One sounded like a cash scheme. Yeah, it definitely sounded like a cash scheme. One couple paid $5,000, another one was charged $2,000. And I'm going to tell you this, to be charging $500 a week or $1,000 a week for therapy, that's not, well, can we just start with that's not ethical? People don't do that because it would be just wrong from the highest standard or from the lowest standards. Most people would say you're going to charge someone $500 for marriage counseling? I don't think so. That's nuts. So does it sound like a kickback scheme from the Mormon church? Yes. If the Mormon church is giving all of the referrals and then the person is meeting with the referred person or couple, and then it is in fact the Mormon church who is paying you, does that sound like money laundering? Because it does to me. So, the church says, oh, hey, sweet tea, welcome. Hey, Rochelle Black, good to see you again. Diamond Paw. I think they like doing all those weird punishments. Hey, I have no doubt that Ruby Frankie seemed to have some sadistic delight. I agree. Oh, True Crime Curator, welcome. So good to see you again. I have missed you guys, I promise. Yeah, it is. I have been knocked to my knees in real life. So I'm sorry about that, curator, that I've been gone. I do apologize, but I'm trying really hard to get started and, get my life going again. So it would seem that Jody actually has a very powerful law firm, right? Not, yeah, she is being, her attorney is this firm that represents Lizzo, who is like this entertainment lawyer, an entertainment industry attorney, right? Oh no, Kathy, you're a sweetheart. No, this is kind of one of those problems that you I don't even know how to explain it. The only word to explain it is just betrayal. That's really the but Maya Angelou, the whole when someone shows you who they are, believe them, right? That's something we all carry with us. We all remember it. We all know it. And I said to Bill, even though in your heart, right? Like even though you know, It's like, even though you know about how something's going to be, that you could predict it, when it happens, it's no longer just like a fear that you carry with you. It is, it's pretty terrible. It's pretty terrible. And that's okay. Look, truth is, it's people all over the world that have real problems, right? And I don't. That's the truth. Um, I don't. We, Bill and I, we have we have worked really hard, and we have made very huge sacrifices, and we have worked to try to have one of those lives where the wolf's out the door and you're not afraid because you've tried to make good choices and good decisions and have great kids. Like, my kids are amazing, truly amazing. But but then but then you always carry with you like the ghosts of the past, right? Yeah, hybrid Pisces. But you always carry these ghosts of the past. You always carry, if you come from an abusive family, it's in you, no matter how well you manage your adult life. Um, and every now and then, the ghosts of the past bubble to the top because of life circumstances. So can't say, like, I totally can't say that it's just the hauntings of the past. That's it. But it can be painful. Um, and so it will be. However, I'm quite blessed. I'm married to a guy that is my friend and have amazing children. I'm really proud of everything I've accomplished and worked hard for. But when you get kicked, one day one day. Yeah, Kathy, it's been really hard. And that's okay. I mean, no one, no one gets to get out of life, without reality. And sometimes reality is a bitch. And that's all right. But here's problem. When you think about those people in Lahana, everybody loses things. Everybody takes bad hits in life, things that are devastating and they're not fair and but when you lose something and it's gone forever and there's no hope of getting it back, then that's where the um you just there's no there's no nothing to fight for. Like there's no so talking about Lahana, there's plenty of people that hurricanes wipe them out or fires or earthquakes, and they take stock of, is there anything left? And maybe there is, maybe there isn't, and then they rebuild. Right, they look at it and they say, I hate this happened, I hate that I've lost my things, I hate blah blah blah, and we will rebuild this. We will start over. We've built a life once, we'll build it again, and we can do that. And so you have hope, right? There's hope built into that mindset if you're a fighter by nature. And I am. When I get knocked down, the very first thing I think of is, what can I do? Like, I got to have an action to fix it, to do something and fix it. um And when you are a fighter and there is nothing to fix, when everything is final, very painful. And the people of Lahaina, they've had their land purchased by the government, taken, or that's what they're trying to do, right? They're saying to the people where this was their family land. There are people that had lived there for families that had lived there for hundreds and hundreds of years. It wasn't that their small house, they did not live lives of excess. They were locals, they were the indigenous people, and they lived a lifestyle where they shared the island. They didn't own the island, right? And so when it burned, they grieved their family losses, their friend losses. They grieved that. And then when you turn your thoughts to, we now will rebuild, we'll go in and we'll clean it up and we'll see what's salvageable and then we'll rebuild. And they're being told, no, we are taking this from you. And we have the right to take this from you. And we're going to take this from you. And it doesn't matter that you value this land because of the family connections and the heritage of that land. It doesn't matter. Then they don't rebuild. And that's a lot of people that are going to be left listless because someone, for whatever reason, wanted that land. and they didn't care what they had to do to get it. So that's sort of what I'm experiencing. I'm experiencing a definitely a betrayal, but a betrayal where some really important things to me, well, so I'm angry and I have to just accept it. And like I said, even though you spend your life knowing something, you know it's coming, you try to convince yourself that you're being ridiculous and foolish, and then when it happens, exactly your biggest fear, and it happens, and then you're just like, well, damn, this is a lot more painful than I thought it was going to be. And here's another truth too. Yes, Diamond Paw. Yes. Um, it's already happened. And I'm super, I'm really apologetic about this. It's still very raw, clearly. It yeah, it's not money, not about it, not it's not money for me, it's money for the idiot hicks, uneducated dumbasses, thieves, thieves. Theirs is money. Theirs is money. It's all they ever cared about was money. But it's done now. So, well, unfortunately, Diamond Paw, I wish it wasn't real. So, and like I said, we all have crap in our lives. We all have tragedy. We all have betrayal. We all have, pieces of shit family members. We all have that. Everybody does. Nobody gets out of this life free like that. Um, and while I'm very sad and I miss my dad terribly, um, I have such a blessed life. I have a great life. Absolutely have a great life. This whole thing with Frankie, Ruby Frankie, you know, people people that deal with abuse um, in families when they're little kids and stuff, they grow up with this problem. Right, Jana? It is very hard when you need them. And I really do need my dad right now. And I don't have him. I know exactly what he would say to me. And I'm blessed to be married to a great guy. And I've got amazing children. And I'm safe. I live in a safe neighborhood. And my husband and I have worked incredibly hard. 10, 12-hour days are our norm. It is not, but that was one of the sacrifices that we made. Thank you, Daisy. It's one of the sacrifices that we made in our lives, was to work really hard to provide for our kids and try to be comfortable when we're old. We don't drink by choice because it's expensive. We try to do the right thing. We try to, it doesn't make us great, or it doesn't make us perfect, or goody two shoes or anything. It's just work. It's just work. We're just working to try to put everything in order. And it's been very hard. It's been very hard. So at the same time that I could really use my dad right now, I have a lot to be grateful for. And I am by no means, I have zero illusion. There are people in the world with real problems, the cancer and cancer treatments and sick children, things that are so much bigger and more important than this. These are my own demons, right? These are on my own. But I will promise you this. There are some really crappy people in this planet. And a lot of times it's your own family, you know what I mean? Really crappy people. And I am blessed. But it is, yeah, that is the struggle, right, Lolo? That's the struggle. Is I'm not like in peril. I'm not like, oh my gosh, I can't pay my bills, or I can't, nothing like that. We're financially safe and comfortable. That this is 100% about betrayal, to be betrayed, and to be violated, that people stole from me, literally stole things. And there is not anything to be done about it. You know what I mean? Right, Jana? Right. Exactly. And for some of the people, Jana, the your role in the family is to pretend like you don't see what terrible people are in your family, right? That you just try to live in denial or to accept them, it's so Jana knows what I'm the ghosts are real, Jana. um and maybe that's why I end up this stage of my life with all these degrees and all, maybe it's running away from them or trying to prove myself. I maybe proving myself. Never felt like I was trying to prove myself. Maybe wanting approval that they were incapable of giving, maybe. But in the end, I benefit. In the end, I'm the one that, but it is there are items that were stolen and sold. There are items that are irreplaceable, things that you can't get back, like pictures, and that is very hard to think about. To think about. To think about like pictures and things from elementary school, and to think about them being thrown away in the trash. That is very hard. Pictures. I had these things that when I traveled, I would buy them. And just like these little amethyst geodes with little pewter, like, four figures in them, like a donkey, like a gold miner with a donkey, or um, um, a bear or a moose, just different things. And so when I would travel, I always picked one up. That was what I gave my dad. So he had these amethyst little things. I guess they were at his office for a long time. And then I saw a few of them, in his office on the mantle at his house. And, I always looked at them and I thought, I'll get those back, right? Those will be mine. And they carry a lot of memories. Like I can remember sitting on the porch. And I suppose those were sold. They're sold by this girl, this child, who's not even in my family, but whew, boy, she saw that family money and she said, "Woo, need to give me a piece of that." You can see this particular part of the family, they don't know what 10 and 12-hour days are. They do not know what it is like to get educated and work your ass off. So anything they can steal or embezzle, it's good pickings for them, because after all, they just can't catch a break. You know what I mean? Look at those people with those ocean houses and cars. Look at them. We didn't get any of that. We were mistreated. We didn't get anything. No, you didn't do anything. Like, no one gave me anything. My mom and dad did not give me and my husband anything. So they stole it all. First opportunity, they stole it, including my things. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Right, Daisy? Listen, Daisy, this is not a great tragedy. We've all had terrible people in our family that have done awful, unscrupulous things, you know? That's right, Nancy Drew, and that's the problem. That is the problem. So in my mind, I'm doing this super unhealthy thing. In my mind, I'm going through and I'm remembering all these things, and I'm like, well, those are mine. I wonder, no, it's all sold. No one told me. No one told me. You know how I found out? I saw it on Facebook. I saw it on Facebook. Unbelievable. It's the most incredible, psychopathic, just cruel and gross thing that this little heifer was so money hungry because trust me, it won't be long. This is not this gonna their family is gonna go down in flames. In flames. Oh yeah, critters. Yeah. And I'm just like, what? So then I contact my brother who is at work offshore. And I say, do you know about XYZ? He was like, no. So he didn't know either. The difference is, he didn't care. All of his personal private things were in his house and now are in a storage facility. But for me, because my family moved so much and traveled, whether it was for my husband's work or my work, that house, my dad's house, was always my home base. I had my same bedroom that I had when I was a little girl. And they just went in and they literally took everything and sold it. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. There is a part of me that I'm still in a state of shock. Like, I just keep thinking they didn't really do this. Like, they put it in a room. Like, they put it aside and said, well, when she comes, to get that. But they didn't. I know they did not. I saw the items. I saw items that were on Marketplace. I saw the big sign, estate sale. I was like, what the fuck? Estate sale? Are you all crazy? Nobody's there. I'm not there. My other brother's not there. What are you doing? They did it. They did it, and they took every dime. Oh my God. Oh my God, Jody. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Right? It's incredible. Jody, I keep asking myself, what would it have taken for me to do that to them, to my other family members? What would it have taken for me to do that? I cannot come up with a situation. Yeah, well, you know what, Diane? It's called felony larceny. And like I said, these were things that were not, well, some of the items were very valuable. Like, I had an antique chest that I bought at an auction about 15 years ago. And that antique chest was being stored there. Because I always thought that I was going to go back there when we retired. I always thought that was going to be home. I thought that was, that I'd have 1/3 of the land and we were going to build a log cabin, and that was what was going to be there. And that one pecan ancient chest, we purchased it about 12 years ago, and I found the receipt. I paid $4,200 for it at an antique auction here in Houston for high-end antiques. $4,200 for one piece of furniture. I had a bookshelf, a hooker bookshelf that matched my bed and everything. $2,500. So those are some of the, more expensive things. But then there were little things like this. Like I had these two wall hangings, these antique tin lithographs of ballerinas, and they were my daughter's baby room. I I kept them for I kept them kept them I kept them for my I kept them for whenever my children had their daughters. I was gonna give one to each one. So those are the unreplaceable, right? And it's really stupid. It's really foolish. It's really stupid because it's nothing, it's just nothing. But it was so, I mean, it was important to me, and that's lost now. So I know, DB, and I hate this. I hate this so much. I hate this. It's just incredible what and I think that's, I get it for money. I know when you are a low life piece of shit and you have no money because you would prefer to get drunk than to go to work. I understand when you need money. Okay, that's fine. If you want to live your life and be an alcoholic piece of shit and you don't have any money, you can do that. That's fine. You can sell my expensive furniture pieces. If you need money, then I get why you do it. But why would you do it with little things that are not worth anything? Like those pictures were not worth anything. Those pictures were not worth a dime. I'm telling you, not a dime. And the whole time that Bill and I were traveling to Egypt back and forth, um, I was getting these KLM houses, right? These little KLM houses. My mom had a few, and I ended up with a whole set of them, plus, I don't know, maybe a third of another second set. And my mom wanted more, so I had given her like, I think I gave her 15 houses to go with. She had 4 or 5 of them. Gave her an additional 15. They hung in her kitchen for a long, years and years and years. They sold them. They sold them with no, even sold these little ceramic praying hands. I made some ceramic praying hands when I was like in my young 20s. Gave them to my grandmother as like a Christmas present or something. And she had written a prayer for me and had put the prayer up inside the hands. And they sat on my dad's mantle for years and years. And I would see them there, and I would always think, I'll get them back. They're coming back to me when the time comes, right? And they sold those, maybe they threw it away. Maybe they threw the hands in the trash. Maybe they sold them. I don't know. Um, it's stupid. It's not worth anything, but it just carries like a lot of memories. So that's where I'm at. And that's, obviously I'm uh I'm pretty weirded out about the whole process. I'm pretty shocked that there are people that would do this. I'm in shock. I'm in grief and I'm in shock. I'm angry. So now you know why it's not a good idea for me to be on YouTube. You know what I mean? It's evil at its core. Need to make sure this person can't touch you again. Oh, no, that's that ship has sailed as a done deal. Yeah. And when the old bank of let's just say my dad's name was, I don't know what, Edward. It wasn't, but we'll just say my dad's name was Edward. The bank of Edward is bankrupt. they have they have destroyed the man's legacy. And that's all right. Because, they will now finally have to live a lifestyle of, what they really are without the benefit of his money hiding it. And I'm just going to go on living the same lifestyle that I live because my husband and I never took a dime from them. Never took a dime. They didn't even pay for my college. I mean, my dad would have, right? My dad would have, but I was an adult, I was married, and I had kids. So why would I expect him to pay for my college? I did that, I mean, he paid for my bachelor's degree, but everything else that me and my husband paid for everything. And then you got this sleazy side of my family that just have, like, I'm in shock how much money they have spent. I am in complete shock how much is gone. I am in shock. Hey, AB, how are you doing? This is so obscene and disgusting and stupid. And I am grieving. So ugly crying. So that's the story, people. That is why I have not been around, and you can tell that I have not worked through it just yet. I'm trying very hard. Thank you, Kate. Thank you so much. They definitely feel entitled, Nancy Drew, and maybe they are. Maybe it's my role to be damn glad that I don't need to exploit everything my dad built. Maybe that's the real gift in this, right? Maybe the real gift is to be proud of who I am and to be proud of what my husband and I have built and feel sorry for them. I mean, they're the losers in all this thing, right? Not me. Thank you, Q-Tip. You're a sweetheart. Q-Tip, I had fun last night and I feel foolish, but that's one of the reasons, that I was over there at Morbids is because, he's entertaining. You know what I mean? And I need to laugh. Keep my feet, keep things in perspective, so to speak. AB's the same, People are really crappy. There are some truly cold, detached, psychopathic people in the world, So anyway, so it's the like the little ballerina pictures. That's what's popping in my head in the middle of the night, and I wake up thinking, oh my God, I'll never get them back. And you can't get them back. You can't, no matter what I do. I even had this moment of insanity where I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll post it on Facebook, and I'll say, hey, if you're the people that bought the 2 ballerina pictures, I'll give you $100 for them. Right? That went through my mind, and then I thought, "No, that's stupid. That's why would anybody see that in the first place?" I mean, it's not like I'm a Facebook person. It's just all gone. It's all gone. And that is called acceptance. And that is what I'm grappling with, like, just acceptance. And like I said, I am not in any way in a bad situation, like, oh, the wolf is out the door, nothing like that. My husband and I have worked very hard, and I am financially safe. I'm physically safe. I have love. I have a beautiful family. I have all those things that make life worthwhile, not worthwhile, but make life, I guess, pleasant. It's just, I'm sad. I'm very, very sad. So, um, Lolo said it. I wonder if you can contact the marketplace and explain these items were stolen and they're in possession of stolen property and to contact you. I yeah, um, maybe because there's furniture that was listed on marketplace that was expensive, that was high dollar furniture, right? So I could do that for the furniture. The thing that's waking me up at night, that's just tearing, just twisting my heart, is things like the ballerina pictures or the amethyst geodes or the little praying hands. My dad had a picture, not a picture, but like a little paint, like a wooden plaque, um, that he kept either over his TV or, well, at the base of his TV or on his desk. And it said, hi, hello, this is God. Today I'll be taking care of all your problems. And I always thought that was so sweet. That was such a nice thought for my dad to have there to remind him, not to get caught up in the bullshit. He was a really super good man. He was a good man. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't hear his words in my head. Karen, you need to do this. Karen, you need to do that. He is ever present with me. So I would have liked to have had that sign. It's just so much. It's just so much. And I have to, I've got to I got to keep things in perspective and not fall down, not tumble down this emotional, there, falling back on my training, there's your wise mind, and then there's your emotional mind, and I'm sorry, there's your rational mind and your emotional mind, but the intersect between the two is your wise mind. And I'm so far over into my emotional mind right now that It's a very uncomfortable place to be. But I I just it's like I'm reliving his death, which is stupid. Sounds stupid. And there's no here's the reality too. There's no use crying about it anymore. It's done. It's a done deal. It's over. It happened. It's a done. It's finished. So the anger will come, right? I'm ready for it. It feels very stupid, critters. Right, sweet tea. Absolutely. Exactly, critters. So I think that since I came out and I told you guys why I've been missing and what's happening, I think that makes it easier for me to kind of get back into this whole YouTube thing. But I do apologize for my emotionality. I kind of thought that I was ready to do this without getting emotional, and I can see I was wrong. So, um, yeah, that's the other thing. It is life, and so many people have experienced some terrible, terrible losses and challenges in their lives. And this seems so petty and small by comparison. And I'm embarrassed, but it just feels like it's just like losing him all over again. And this never would have happened had he been alive. And when there's money on the table and you're a person that has no money, it makes you stupid and it makes you crazy, you know? And they have definitely been stupid and crazy. Really stupid and crazy. All right. Thank you, Diane. Um, I am embarrassed, Lolo. I am embarrassed. Hey, Libby. The thing, exactly, Libby. They can take whatever they take, but it doesn't take away, you know. I'm ready for the anger, Jana. I'm ready for it. I had an initial burst of anger when I thought I might be able to stop what was happening, get my things. I got a U-Haul, and they sold it. They had their sale. Um, Regardless of how poor or unsuccessful you are, that will never give them the right to steal. Oh, they've definitely taken the right to steal. they have blown past that marker for sure. I mean, it's not funny, but you either laugh about it or cry about it because it is so crazy. Like what they've done is just crazy. It's just crazy. In my mind, I kept saying they wouldn't really do this. Like they're not really doing this. This is not really the way people act. It's the way they act. So they proved it. So it's just vultures. It's just vultures circling the dead carcass of my dad's life. Everything that he worked his ass off, everything he achieved, all of his accomplishments, all wrapped up on family land that had been a part of his family for hundreds of years. They're just circling like a bunch of buzzards waiting, and as soon as they're able, swoosh, they swooped in, they took it all, and they didn't give any consideration to the fact that some of those things were I owned. They didn't. They could, their eyes had money signs in them like the old cartoons, right? And swoop they did. They waited until I was in Colorado, and then it all happened while I was in Colorado. And my other brother was offshore. I was in Colorado, he was offshore, and boom, it showed up on Facebook. Isn't that crazy? But at the end of the day, they made their little money grab, got a little bit of cash that they'll be able to buy lots of alcohol and be real pieces of shit for a few months. And then that money will all be gone, and everything he worked for will all be gone. And I will still be living my best life, working and living next to the ocean and seeing my great children and laughing with my wonderful husband. My life doesn't change at all. My other brother's life doesn't change at all. He keeps living his best life. And these alcoholic pigs will be living back in some old used up trailer park somewhere. And that's the reality, because the Bank of Edward is bankrupt. They got it. They got it all. So I wonder about that, critters. I wonder. They do happen, Vicky Carpenter. They do. They happen way more than they should. So, yeah. All right, y'all. I have to go. I've got somewhere I got to be at 11. Thank y'all for being my, support group. As sad as that sounds, from my perspective. But I really, I keep trying to do YouTube, and then it gets away from me. And so maybe this makes it easier. Maybe now y'all know what's going on, and now I can just be myself, and we can just get back to doing what we do, right? Thank you, critters. I promise you the feeling is mutual. So, that's right, hybrid. Absolutely. Yep. I will. Critter's gonna play it up loud on my way to work. So, hey, much endeavors. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lolo. All right. I do have to go make sure I get there, and you guys have a great day, and I'll try to come back live again sometime this week. Okay. All right. Thanks so much for listening. I appreciate it. Bye.